here's the culprit here. I believe this is bad. We're going to change this assembly out. We'll see if that fixes this ice maker. Alright, this should be the new one. This should be the piece we are going to use to fix this problem. Comes with some compound grease. And here is the part here that we are actually after. Right here. So hopefully that should fix our problem. We will find out soon enough. Alright, step one. Disconnect power from power source. I have turned the breaker off, so we do not have power there. Step two, remove rear access panel. Well, this is in the wet bar here, so we are going to remove this from the wet bar, and then we should be able to get to the access panel. Alright. Okay, so to remove this, there's a screw there, a little bit further down. There's going to be another screw right near the bottom there. And on this side, screw right up there on the top and right there in the bottom. We will have to remove the water line from there as well, and then we should be able to haul it out. One other thing, we must shut off the water and try and drain the water hose as best as possible. Okay, so here's the back panel. So we have to undo these screws around the edge here and get inside here. Okay, next we have to disconnect the power harness here. And we have to pull a little bit of this putty away here, and we have to pull out the thermostat lead from the ice making unit. Okay, we have the thermostat pulled out of the tube to come out right from there. We've pulled the water filler out, and unlike the one we have, the new ice maker, this one just had Marek connectors going directly, or a connector going directly to the wire rather than the plug. So we will have to probably cut off that plug and just hook the wires up directly as it was done originally. Okay, this should be a little bit better area to work from. So we will undo the screws on the bottom that go from the evaporator to the ice maker. And I think we're going to find a few other screws, but that will basically be most of it. And then this whole assembly should just come right out. So there was two screws, one here, going this way into the sidewall. And then there's three from the bottom. You can use a 1/4-inch socket to undo those. And you undo this. Now you have to carefully sort of pull up and wiggle this out, and then it comes out, the wire comes out. On the bottom of the ice maker assembly has a bunch of thermal grease. The new one comes with this thermal grease, or at least you'll want it to, because this is what assists the transfer when it's making the ice cubes to absorb the heat out of the ice cube tray and to freeze your ice cubes. And yeah, without that grease there, or that compound, it will take longer to make ice. So you want to make sure that you do put new stuff. But this one we won't have to clean up, but the other one here, it has quite a bit of this thermal material left on there that we'll have to clean off. And this is the old ice maker here, so it's what we'll be replacing. If yours is leaving little black flecks, that would be this coating that's starting to peel off, which this one was starting to do that. Usually on a new batch ice cubes it would start doing that, but yeah, we're mainly doing it because it was completely failing and not able to make ice anymore, or basically the process was stopping and causing a lot of problems. But anyway, this is the assembly we'll be replacing, and that should increase the production as well. Okay, as mentioned here, this is the material here, this thermal material that we're going to have to make sure to clean off. Now this is part of the evaporator, so there is refrigerant that goes through this piece of metal here, so you never want to use anything too sharp. If you puncture it, all the refrigerant will leak out, and then you have a much bigger problem than what we're trying to fix here. So as mentioned, this is where that paste goes, and the ice maker sits on here, and this is the cold plate here that on the evaporator where it draws the heat out of the water to make ice. So you can see all the pieces. It came off very easily. You don't have to push too hard or anything. And as you can see, I just used a flipper, and that way we're not going to damage the evaporator and cause a refrigerant leak. But yeah, this was actually a very easy piece to clean up. It only took a few minutes, and will probably take longer to clean all the bits and pieces out. But yeah, that's probably what I'd recommend to use, or maybe a spatula, something of that nature. And so from here, we're going to clean this up, and we're going to prepare the new ice maker to go in. Okay, so I have done a dry fit with it, and it looks like it all fits nicely. All the holes line up. So right here and right here, these surfaces are going to come together. This is where we need that compound, and this is the compound that they include in the installation kit. So basically you'll just put enough on so you get good contact and adhesion between this piece here and this piece here. And again, that's just to transfer the heat from the water to make the ice, and without it, it'll take a lot longer. So you want to make sure, if it doesn't include it, make sure you get the right thermal paste to put in there. So I have done the dry fit right now, so I'm going to put the paste on here, and we are going to put it in place. Okay, I have a nice thick coating of the compound on here, and then put a thin coating up here on the evaporator. So that should promote good adhesion once they go together. And then we'll put the 2 screws here and here that go through here and here, and that'll sort of hang off that. And then there's the 3 screws here that go through the underside here, back here, and over here. Actually over here, here, and 1 back here. And so we'll go ahead and put it in. As well, you have to make sure that I'm going to push that tube back, and I'll put the fill tube in with the clip once I got it in. But also there's this tube here that has to be lined up and go in this little tube here, and that's where you feed the thermostat. The thermostat feeds into that portion there. These old compression fittings, this one somebody's fixed it at some point because it's got a little silicone and stuff. Don't think it comes like that. But I usually try to weed out as much of that old plumbing as possible, put in brand new packs. They're kind of expensive, but they really work good. The shark bite fittings, they're very easy to pull apart and put together, and they don't seem to leak. But when you have to take something apart again, it's really nice, and they go together really nice. So I usually make sure I have a few of these on board, and when I'm going to do a project, I usually put them in and put in brand new packs. Well, it looks like we got the job done. It's all back together. Seems to be working. It pushed off its full batch of ice yet. It's getting cold, and it feels a little slushy if I reach up around the cube tray, so I think it's just a matter of time. But I would expect this should be a success. Thank you for watching.